feelings matter. Chiron and Libra, wounds that are triggered by judgment from others. A wound that is triggered by beauty, maybe judgment about one's beauty, my own beauty, how others see my beauty, how virtuous others see me as being. Maybe it can be triggered by being called shallow or feeling disregarded by others, not valued. These are all Libra kind of keywords, and Chiron is all about wounding, and so that's how those two are coming together in my mind. There's this TV show that a lot of people know about. It's called House. And House is this brilliant, he's this brilliant mind in medicine. He's a doctor in a hospital. And, it's like he has a big heart, but he hides it, and so he comes off as being this really, I don't want to say a not so nice word on this, but like a character that people aren't so pleased with having around. He's very brusque and kind of rude in how he speaks. Anyways, there's this one episode where it's funny, it's very Libra. There's this woman, and she's with her husband, Libra. And the husband is this sort of sweet, doting kind of character. And the woman, she's fallen ill, and they don't really know what's going on. So she's lying in bed, and House sort of insinuates that he knows what's up with her. And the woman picking up on this, she sends her husband away because he's none the wiser, and she doesn't want him to be the wiser. And I'm not speaking about her physical medical condition. I'm speaking about, I guess we could call it a condition in her own mind. But she doesn't want the husband to know, so she kind of sends him away, in this very light, fluffy way, like, oh, babe, could you go get me this or that, And he's this character who's doting and kind, right? That's how he's written in the script. So he's like, yeah, of course, and he goes away. And then with House, she, continues with this ruse, this act, this mask of being this sweet woman who loves her husband and all of that. So she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't really understand what you're trying to say, And House, in his very brusque manner, basically says, cut the crap. We know what's going on, we know that you're a sociopath and you gotta let down this mask, He doesn't say it like that, but you just gotta stop so that we can figure out what's wrong with you. I know you're faking it, okay? I know you can't feel anything. All right, just come on. Let it go. And there's this moment where she holds this sort of expression on her face, like, what are you saying? Like a bit of confusion. And, she looks like this sweet woman. And then, the moment passes and her face drops. It falls. And her expression goes blank. And she basically asks him, what do you want to know? What's up? And his face kind of gets kind of shocked. He gets a little spooked, like, whoa. Because it's one thing to say, you're a sociopath, and oh yeah, I recognize that that's what's going on. And then to actually see that transpire. And I'm bringing this story up because to me it feels so Chiron and Libra. When we think about Libra, it's this sign that's calm, cool, composed. And it's this sign that is opposite Aries, which is the very opposite. We know what Aries is feeling. Aries is always feeling something. Aries is inspired by how it feels. This feeling, this experience of self, who Aries is, and this enthusiasm for self and life. Whereas Libra, is about it's about logic. It's an air sign. It's about control in that sort of way. Wanting to keep the peace, the harmony, that measure. What's that word? I guess control. And in science experiments and things, they always say, "Oh, the control is," it's this energy of it's like for Libra, the control is peace. Whether that's real peace or not, it's this feeling, this sense of stability, of balance. Libra is always seeking balance in its environment so that it can maintain this sense of balance internally. And it does that by trying to equal the scales, balance the scales, the self and the other, the viewpoints of different parties. Libra's a political sign. Keeping the peace. Okay. So the story with House, I'm thinking about this whole identity piece, right? Because Libra's opposing sign is Aries. Aries is about identity, and Libra is about partnership. Partnerships that have to do with contracts, partnerships where there are commitments to one another. One is beholden to another. It's legally bound. It means something. And so Librans take their commitments very seriously, and that's why they don't just enter into commitments all willy-nilly. That's why they're always kind of on the fence, and they're bouncing back between different ideas, Anyways, with Libra feeling this sort of internal challenge of balancing, it's not only balancing what's happening outside of me, right? Because I've got Chiron and Libra, so now I'll refer to myself as the Libran in this situation. It's about balancing what's happening internally, with what's happening externally as well. And so I feel it introduces this idea of the mask, where Aries is kind of showing everything, saying, this is who I am. Libra is all about, this is who we are. And it's this balance. Christopher Renstrom says this with this astrologer. It's this balance between me and we, who I am and who we are as a joint unit. And I think the issue that comes with this is this desire for harmony, where Libra can give up its own sort of maybe autonomy and agency in deferring to the other party, and in wanting to be accepted, loved, liked, respected by the other party. And this is where Libra can run into issues. Because maybe one is hiding. This is, now this is getting to be a bit more of a first house, seventh house thing. But I see it as making sense with Libra as well, because it is the sign of the scales, right? The scales having to do with merchants. So, or even like, what is it, that mythology with Anubis. You're wanting to see the truth behind something. Anubis weighing the heart on one pan of the scale and a feather on the other. And it's trying to see the truth in the heart, the good deeds that the soul has performed, the value of the heart, the value of the soul, based on who the soul, has been, who the soul has shown itself to be. Does the inside match with the outside, the honesty of the soul, the integrity of the soul, and the virtue of the soul? And so I feel like it, especially because the seventh house, again, I'm kind of mixing things up here, but the seventh house does have to do with the setting of the sun. It has to do with death in ancient astrology. And so there's this energy of shadow that's introduced with Libra. Again, Libra, it's like the pans are also the claws of the scorpion. It's the sign that's preparing us to move into the space of the scorpion, which is all about death, transformation, shadows. So we see that the energy of shadow is in Libra. And so there's also this energy of disguise, feeling the need to disguise oneself, to hide oneself. And then again, moving back into partnership. Will the other accept me if I show them who I am, not just the beautiful face, but the good, the bad, the ugly, Will they accept me for who I am? And with this whole sort of shadow energy, with Chiron being in Libra, it can be shame around this dichotomy, this issue of the mask between who I am, the aspects of myself that I don't really want to embrace, and that I don't really even recognize as being in myself, for fear of judgment, because I've already judged myself for those things harshly. And so it's like I'm trying to export them maybe onto the other, project it onto the other, judging those qualities in others and saying, oh, no, that's not me. I'm not like that, even though I am. And then also this fear of the other seeing through the facade and not liking what they see. And then with Chiron, abandonment, abandoning me because of it. And so I shared this story about House and this woman who is a sociopath, because it's the darkness that one enters when one can no longer feel, when one has gone so long without feeling that it's false. It's all falsehood and pretense. The shadow that hides behind the mask. And the mask appears to be one way. Like, again, with Anubis, the heart looks fine. But when we put it on the scales of justice, we see the truth behind it. Whether it's good or bad, we come to see what it really is. What the account comes out to be. Debits and credits. Let's just see where we're at. If I've gone so long feeling isolated from myself, i.e., not feeling, then with Chiron being in Libra, I may appear to be one way when there's really something cold underneath the surface. It's like the love is lacking. I'm a feeling being. I'm a soul. And first and foremost are my feelings. That's who I am. How I feel is who I am. And it's not how I feel in terms of the emotions, the fleeting, the temporary, like irritation or excitement, etc. It's the virtues, which is a very Libra topic as well. the virtues are how I feel. It's my courage, my faith, my discipline, my love, my peace. These are my virtues, and they are foundational, even more the essence of my existence, of who I am. The intellect is secondary. Knowledge comes and goes. But who I am is how I experience life and who I experience myself to be. And I think the issue with coldness eventually turning into sociopathy is this this separation from the self. I can't feel myself anymore. I can't feel me. I can't feel my virtues. I can't feel my interests. Because I've spent so long hiding, running away from, I guess, my experience of life, how I feel. There's the true how I feel, the truth of who I am, those virtues. And then there are those fleeting emotions. And I have to I have to sit with those. I have to be in the experience of them to some extent. You know, no matter how painful those emotions are, because they're telling me something about something that needs to be healed, right? Chiron. Chiron's that wound that needs to be healed. And in this case, it's triggered by Libra and things. But anywho, the longer I go without feeling is the longer I go without healing or moving through or learning on that emotional level, that feeling level. And then I get accustomed to not feeling, right? Because I don't want to feel. I'm tired. I'm tired of feeling. And I move away from my truth, my core, my center. I move away from who I am. You know, Libra's on that axis with Aries 180 degrees apart. The furthest distance away is seen in the opposition, 180 degrees. And Aries is I am. And that's why Sun doesn't like to be in Libra. It's so far away from that energy, that essence of who I am. So I see that situation with House and the woman as being kind of like an extreme example of Chiron and Libra. Feeling so isolated from the self, feeling so wounded about, I guess, being accepted. You know, because it's like she's in this predicament where she's gone so long without feeling that it's turned into sociopathy, not being able to feel anything, cold as a fish. But also wanting to continue to receive regard, recognition, to have relationship with, that she puts on this front, this mask. Because she's afraid of people seeing that there's really a sort of emptiness behind the mask, the facade. Libra is about feeling valued in social situations. And maybe with Chiron there, I have a fear that I'm not, or rather that I won't be valued in social situations, because there's aspects of me that are unacceptable. And so, again, with that situation with House, maybe the partner, her husband, doesn't actually see her or know anything truly about who she is, what she loves, who she loves, what characteristics she loves. And this distance between the individual and their partner can create, a coldness between the two. Even if there's this thin veneer of a diplomatic, presentable, to some extent hospitable mask of Libra and Libra social graces. And it's like the Libra individual becomes a shadowy figure because they're not easily seen or known. And it's also challenging for the Libra figure because there's been such a bondage to wearing this mask. It reminds me of how Libra doesn't get into commitments willy-nilly. But once it does, it's there, it's bonded, it's committed. And so it's like the Libra figure has entered this bondage with this mask, this fake identity, in order to appease society, to get along in social situations, because it feels it's the best that they can do, that Libran mask. Not recognizing that who they are is acceptable, and that they'll find the people who accept them for who they are, Now it's turning into a Libra Aquarius thing. But I feel this holds true for Chiron and Libra. I am acceptable for who I am. Acceptable by those by those that I choose to be in partnership with. I guess it also depends on the motivations for why I wish to be in partnership with another. Is it to create harmony, social cohesion, but on the basis of truth, true, pure, beautiful feelings within myself? Or is it for status and social recognition? Am I really seeking to understand the true value of, I guess, this partnership, this union between myself and the other? And how do I discern that value? How do I rather decide that value? If I'm not being, I guess, true to myself and allowing my partner to see me as I am, and also allowing my partner to show themselves as they are and accepting them as they are, working with them to become stronger as a unit so that we can become stronger as individuals and vice versa. With the Libra individual, the Chiron and Libra individual, like what we were saying about them becoming like a shadowy figure because they're not easily seen or known. It's like maybe others feel that they can see the Libra individual with their eyes, but it's not like they can experience the value of that Libra individual and know them, who they are, experience that, feel that. Because there's this coldness where the love, the heart, the feelings are supposed to live. It reminds me of Bree from Desperate Housewives, when she was in her partnership with Rex, her husband, and her family in general. And she came across as being this perfect wife and mother, but in her own home, there was a lot of discord and discontent with her family members because they didn't know her. They couldn't feel her. All they saw was this shiny veneer that was beautiful and elegant and poised. And it's funny too, because she always cooked these meals that were extravagant and tasteful and exquisite, but there was this lack in the feeling, in the truth, in the earthiness. Like the son was complaining once because she said, "Oh, I made osso boko." I think it's like a Portuguese dish, but this is like a woman who's like, in a white body living in America, and this is how she cooks every night. It's always something elegant and posh. And he's like, can we just have like beans in a can for once? And then he references his friend and how the mom gets home and she just opens up a can, cooks it really quickly in a pot, and serves that to the family, and they're all satisfied and happy. Because in that moment, it feels like he's not speaking about the physical taste. It's about the emotional taste, the feeling. And he's craving that feeling. He's missing that feeling. He's wanting that feeling back. But somewhere along the journey, Bree became distant from herself. She even speaks about how she compartmentalizes how she feels, that she'll visualize putting the difficult emotion in a box, and then she in her mind she visualizes a shelf and she puts it on the shelf and she closes the closet door and she says, I'll come back to that later. But of course she never comes back to it. And this also reminds me of Capricorn. Venus rules Libra and Saturn rules Capricorn. And both, actually Venus and Saturn, Capricorn and Libra, get on really quite well, as they're two signs, Capricorn and Libra, that are seen as being calm, cool, collected. I mean to say Venus and Saturn get along really well. But both signs are seen as being calm, cool, and collected, especially under pressure. While Cancer and Aries, the other cardinal signs, the signs that are opposite to Libra and Capricorn, are not known for being calm, cool, and collected. They're very feeling signs that we'd never associate with not feeling, about the self and family, intimacy. And it's like Capricorn and Libra are about society, the external world, maybe the face we put on, the control aspect, wanting to build something in terms of the social ladder. So with Chiron and Libra, I can be distant in how I relate with others by being cold and isolated away from myself. But I've got to learn to turn within and recognize that I am acceptable, I am beautiful. And even when I'm, maybe when I feel disregarded or unaccepted in social situations, to embrace that and let that be a teaching for me, a learning about what really lies inside, where I haven't been nurturing, taking care of myself, and where I've tried to fill in holes with other people's false, fake company. And I think when I start to accept myself, it's like the shield becomes the acceptance, and the slights that come through the world and those social situations that come in the social arena, those slights, they don't really maybe slice into me as deeply. They don't hurt as much. As a kid, I was always teacher's pet, and I was obsessed with my teachers liking me. They must like me. And fast forward to my second degree, I was sitting in this class where there's this teacher who it felt like he didn't really know that I existed. And it's a class of 30. And it bothered me. And when I would try to say something in class, I felt like he didn't really acknowledge my existence. And with my Chiron and Libra, it really bothered me. I really wanted to be liked by this teacher. I also have Mercury there, right? So Mercury has to do with learning and education. So I see it as having to do with that. But I applied this teaching from Raj Yoga meditation about letting go of expectations. Letting go of expectations. So I let go of this expectation that the teacher will like me if I do this or if I do that. Libra stuff, shadow Libra traits. Instead, I said, it's okay. He doesn't have to like me. He doesn't have to know I exist. I like me. And I think even more than that, I wanted to position myself in a space of learning and in a space of wanting to be of service. Libra is a wonderful sign for social justice because it really is about service. Libra gives before it receives, where Virgo makes sure that it's received first before it gives, because Virgo's so practical. Libra gives first. And so it's wonderful for social justice and fighting for the rights of others. And so there is this feeling about service and wanting to be of service in this classroom. So I shifted my attitude. And in doing so, I found that teacher actually really appreciates me now. When I stopped seeking this, looking, I guess in a way it's lusting, right? Lusting after the appreciation of this teacher, as I'd done my entire life thus far with all teachers. Men, women, doesn't matter. They must like me, right? And letting go of that and wanting to focus on giving, on service, these beautiful aspects of Libra, not the shadowy ones, the true ones, the full ones, where I have something to give. And focusing on that, on those, this teacher did my experience of this teacher did a 180. And he even sort of came up to me during class once, and he's like, I love your contributions, I appreciate what you share in class. He's like, I really, really do. And and he compliments me, and I can feel that he's someone who appreciates my presence in class, and he's very kind and sweet to me now. All because I stopped wanting, lusting, desiring after this teacher's affection. And I feel like that's the beauty and strength of Libra. Libra's naturally beautiful. It's ruled by Venus. And it's naturally beautiful to others because it's all about the other. Like, others see us, right? Whatever Libra placement someone has. So Mercury in Libra. Others see our words. Mars in Libra. Maybe others even see our actions, even though Mars isn't happy in Libra. But when we turn to the empowered aspects of whatever the placement is rather than the shadowy ones, that's when our true beauty shines. That's when it's so easily seen by others. That's when we're regarded by others. That's when we're loved by others. And so I think when I embrace whatever it is that these Chiron wounds are trying to tell me, feeling triggered and stuff, when I embrace whatever those lessons are, whatever they're coming into my life to teach me, when I shift my attitude and embrace that and move into a different space of awareness, right? Aries, with the whole Aries Libra axis. And it's like I've unlocked something with this key of Chiron. I've unlocked a new understanding of who I am. This original understanding of who I am, who I've always been. When the illusion of that lack is no more, I can trust myself to be myself, and I feel happy for it, and I feel accepted by those around me. And there's no more of this mask, because I've seen the truth, my value as an individual and an independent soul in these social situations, and what I can give and offer to the public, offer to my companions, offer to the collective, offer to the tree of humanity. It's beautiful what I can offer to the tree when I turn my eyes away from what I seek, what I desire. Venusian, Venus ruled sign. I can turn my eyes towards what I seek the beautiful things that I seek, the virtuous things that I seek. I seek to give, to help, to serve, to value. And I decide my actions based on that desire, that truth, that wisdom.